Hey, ha ha ha. Welcome to another bright, sunny day here in London. Wherever you're watching us around the world, we welcome you and we say thank you for continuously supporting our channel and subscribing to our YouTube channel and watching the show on television. Wherever you're watching it, amazing grace to you. Another great day in the world at the moment. There's a bit of turmoil, there's a bit of different things going on, but we're going to try and stay focused on the show, and we're having a special edition for in memory of George Floyd on Saturday. We feel that there is an opportunity, as I said, excuse me, it will be a good opportunity for us all to talk, and then for those who are feeling some pain, to express some pains, we're going to try and organize some psychiatrists and doctors online. I can listen and we have a conversation and maybe give one or two advices to people how to get over this very difficult emotional time because it's very emotional for everybody. So we need to kind of find a way of actually getting through that. So that's Saturday. It can be a special edition from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock, 2 hour show. So tune in, call, let's talk, and let's heal together. Okay, right. Today we're talking about accepting your imperfections. Mm. I like this topic because, as I said when I talk about today, we've got talk about my guests first. We've got Wumi online. We've got Hanan. We've got Tony, and we've got Angela. Four professionals. Excuse me. Who are going to help us to talk about this topic today in depth. And please, as I always say, get in touch with all these professionals. If you feel that they've said something that you like, and you feel that they said something that could encourage you or that can help you to get out of the trap or the condition or the situation that you're in, get in touch with them and see how they can help you. Accepting your imperfections. I used to worry a lot regarding not a lot. Yeah, I used to worry when I was not even when I was growing up. When I was a grown man, I was a manager, and I used to concern myself about things that I just can't find myself completing. When you have a lot of tasks to do, and it's a particular area of your business or your project that you just can't do, it used to really concern me. And I used to kick myself to think, I love doing all this. I love creating. I love talking. I love motivating. I love coming up with ideas and creating ideas and see how we can improve things and innovate ideas and make things better and implement them. But there were areas of my whole management style or character or responsibilities that I was not good at. And I used to just, that little 1% or 2% used to make the whole 98% look horrible to me. And everyone will be going, "Oh, you're doing a great job." But I'll still be looking at that 2% thinking, even last week I normally do a live stream for my church, every Catholic church, just me and the father. I'll set the camera and we'll live stream you can go online and check it. And we had a network problem, and I was kicking myself, and after about a few minutes, I just started laughing, thinking, "Come on, Ronnie, you don't have control over the data and the network. If it's a network issue, there's a network issue. Just get on with it." But I've learned to control that part of me because I understood that, listen, nobody's perfect. There are imperfections in everybody. There are things that you can do. There are things that are difficult for you to do, and there are things that you hate doing. We can learn to improve on those things that are difficult for us to do, but we're not going to be able to do them as well as the things that we love doing, because those things we put all our heart and mind and energy and everything into it. And if we channel that same energy into the areas where we're struggling, yes, we can get better. But I found that for me, I excel in the areas of the things I love. And in the things that I don't really love that much, the things that I don't really love that much, I just delegate. I just try to delegate them so that way I don't stress myself about that. I just kind of I'm just trying to do two things at the same time. I'm trying to schedule we got some Zoom calls coming in a minute, and I'll be talking to my guest. So things that I find myself that I'm not that good at, I just don't stress myself about it. I just kind of delegate them. So as I delegate those things, they get done by people who love doing them. It's like having an accountant to go on a medical retreat. That will bore the hell out of them. So in your imperfections, there are things that you're not perfect at. No one is perfect. Find the things that you're good at and try to be the best that you can at doing those things. The same way it goes for when you see your children doing something, and then you tend to kind of scold them so much that, oh, why are you not delivering in this area, and why are you not doing so well in this area? When I'm streaming, we're home now, so I gotta let my family know I'm streaming. They don't walk past. So there are things that you do well, and there are things that you don't do too well, and we seem to find that we kick ourselves so much when we focus on the things that we don't do too well. There was a learning also that I was taught a few years ago, that we should accentuate the things that we do well. And when we do that, we find out that we do more of those things better. And the things we don't do well gradually reduces. So, nobody's perfect. There's no perfect human being on earth. We all have areas in our lives that we're concerned about, and that seems to worry us the most. It's just the way you are. If you have, we seem to worry a lot about the 1% of, oh, my nose is not straight, my one eye is this, my ear, or my voice is not as good, or I'm not as pretty, or one thing or the other. The last time I checked, no two people were made the same. The last time I also checked, everyone was different. So everyone's made differently. Everyone is created differently. We do things differently. So how do you know that your imperfection is not a gift? That's a good question. How do you know that? Okay, you say you're imperfect, but how do you know that, that thing that you think is an imperfection in you, it's not your uniqueness. It's not what makes you special. Have you tried to use that to make you special? There are people with no arms, no legs, no feet, no nothing, and they are doing very well. But we got 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 eyes. Everything is perfect. Everything is complete, and you're still saying you're not perfect enough. I understand, but we need to keep talking to professionals to try and help us to understand better. How do we appreciate what we have, be happy and be thankful for what we have, rather than complain and get ourselves all miserable because our hair is not long enough. I got the fantastic Pastor Wumi coming on next. I mean, I always love talking to him. He's the husband of one wife, and I always love when he says that. It cracks me up. Well, gratefully, we should be able to connect on what's it called, on Zoom. So let's see how that works. That worked perfectly last week, so that should work again today. Hi, Mr. Wumi, can you hear me? Let's see. Okay. All right, good. All right, Mr. Wumi, how are you? Can you hear me? Joseph, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Ronnie. How are you? I can
I
hear
am
you loud.
fantastic. And how are you?
Yeah, very well. Thank you very much.
Nice
Thank
to
you.
meet you. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Joseph Oladele. I'm a pastor, a theologian. I'm an IT consultant.
Fantastic. Today we're talking about accepting your imperfections. Do you want to say a little bit about that before we start?
Okay. Quick apology. I've not been listening to your intro because I just came off a meeting as well.
That's okay.
from what the post that you sent to me, it says mistakes, which is relatively imperfection. If you relate the two together, imperfection will be based on your own personal judgment, and depending on your yardstick for measuring your imperfection, you might be making a lot of mistakes, because if you're comparing yourself to somebody else, then it's a big mistake, which I even like when you say mistakes anyway.
Okay.
So everybody has got their own uniqueness, and nobody's expecting anybody to perform like A or B. Maybe in some areas, or if so a person can do this, I can do it as well. But in terms of, I can't be as perfect as A or B, it's just because you have your own uniqueness, and you just have to understand who you are and what you can do well, and capitalize on your own good areas or your own professional area, so that you can attain the maximum in terms of your professionalism or your capabilities. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you very clearly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. I was waiting for you to continue on the topic. But there was a question that came to me while I was talking. The question was, how do we know that thing that we physically are concerned about on a physical point, now maybe people with one arm or two arms or one eye or no eyes or whatever, and that is the imperfection that is really bothering them. Maybe they got a longer nose or one ear, or they feel that they got a longer nose. How do we know that is not our uniqueness? That is a gift to make us to stand out. I mean, that just came to me as I was talking. Does that make sense?
It does. I think the first thing is to accept who you are. Yeah, if you accept who you are, you'll be able to look inwards and see what you can use your uniqueness for, which is the same thing as being unique. Somebody with one arm, maybe born with one arm, or try an accident or something.
Yeah.
With people with innovations, people with that got a future that don't want anything to keep them down.
Yeah.
They want to look for any means by which they can take advantage of their uniqueness or their position or circumstance to make something in life.
Yeah.
Trust me, I've seen people with no legs that are super rich. They just found their niche, and they started doing that, and you know what? It just went through the roof. So if you have two legs, maybe you are not even called to do that. And because of that, you can't just go and cut your two legs and say, okay, maybe if I don't have two legs as well, I might be able to perform as that person. You've only just cheated yourself, even from a lot of other things. So one's uniqueness should be the paramount, that this is who I am. What can I make out of this circumstance? It's just who you are. You just have to look inwards, evaluate yourself. What can I do? And you are not perfect. Who said so? Beauty is in the eyes of the beholder.
Yeah.
Somebody that will say that I can't marry this person because he's got this, she's got that. Somebody will be, oh my God, this is a beautiful lady. You see, we see things differently. So the way you perceive yourself, the way you perceive others will go a long way to determine how you relate to your own ability.
I mean,
so
you talked
it's
about
very important.
I like the point that you made when you talked about nobody's kind of perfect.
No,
But if we look at the way that we carry out and do things, we always challenge ourselves and always kick ourselves if we don't. Some people do, actually, if we don't get everything right. There seems to be this, you made this mistake, you didn't get it right, you didn't do this right, you shouldn't have done it better, you shouldn't have done this better, you shouldn't have done this better. I think that kind of ingrains in us the perception that we must get things perfect all the time.
I don't really think so.
Okay.
I think the way I can relate to that is this. If you have studied hard for an exam and you didn't pass, it'll be painful that, wow, with all that I've done, I still didn't pass this exam.
Mm.
You can feel the pain, you can
Yeah.
kick yourself, but it's supposed to just be like a temporary thing. Then you just have to go back and look at it. What have I done wrong?
Mm.
Reevaluate it and say, okay, I'm going to go for it again. And this time I must make sure I don't do that same mistake. So mistakes are there, and we are all bound to make mistakes. But within the same mistakes, we are to learn the lessons. That what have I done wrong? In which part have I, gone out of line? Then you can put that together and make it better next time. And you see, one thing I was thinking about when talking about mistakes, some people turn their mistakes into positive things. They can look around. I've made this mistake in my life, and I don't want to see other people make the same mistake. They just go about telling people, this is my mistake. I've made this mistake in the past, and this is how much I paid for it. So I don't want you to make the same mistake. Please do it this way. You see, that is turning the mistakes into a positive use. And that's the power of mistakes, positiveness. And I like your quotation, by the way.
Which one is that?
That was from the Bible. It said, he is without fault. Let him cast the first stone.
Yes. What does the Bible? What does the Bible say? What's the Bible quotation?
Well, more or less the same thing, because Jesus Christ was trying to teach people forgiveness. He was trying to teach them forgiveness. It was the story of the woman that was caught in adultery. That was caught in adultery, and people were like, "Oh yes, we're going to stone this woman to death." Anyway, that was the law of the land. So if she made a mistake, well, I don't call that a mistake anyway, because there are some mistakes. And this is it. Let me talk about it. People tend to pass their errors as mistakes sometimes. Anything you do that is intentional and turn out wrong, trust me, that will not be a mistake. It can be accounted as a mistake, but that will be a fault.
What do you mean? You mean anything illegal or illegal? Are you talking about legality now, or you lost me kind of? Because when you say anything you do intentionally, because we always do things intentionally, in a way.
Well, that's true. You're right. You can go all the way out to do things intentionally, and along the line you can make a mistake, genuine mistake. Yeah, and you can only say, "I'm sorry for this," or there is a way by which you can rectify that. You rectify without any adverse effect. Okay, and that's it. But if I want to go and beat somebody up intentionally, you see, intentional, both intentional. I want to intentionally want to go and beat somebody up, and without calling a mistake, I say, "Well, why did you do that? Oh, it was a mistake." I was passing something that I did deliberately as a mistake, and that will not be a mistake. That's not a mistake. I'm just passing it on, and we do that most times. And that is because you know the effect of something before you actually do it.
Yeah.
So if you do something,
oops, sorry,
sorry, I'm online. If you do something deliberately or intentionally, knowing the result of what you have done, then that will not be passed as a mistake. The woman that committed adultery knew that it was against the law to commit adultery, but the saving grace of God that, look, amongst all of you, any one of you, if you have never sinned before, cast the first stone. Meaning every single one of you need to check yourself. So because that's the question you pose, that how do we use that? So in our mistakes, we need to learn to forgive ourselves, one.
Yeah.
And people that we have offended, well, because mistakes too has got degrees. There are some severe mistakes that are irreparable.
Yeah.
Like a surgeon that did an operation and the person died. They will pass that as negligence. It will not be a mistake, but a negligence, because you are the professional. It's what you are meant to do and do well. That's why they wouldn't go and give that to a mechanic or a bricklayer somewhere. You see, so that's negligence. That's got effect. But how many times you want to say sorry that will bring the person back? That is not. You see that, and that's another aspect of mistake. And you say, "Oh, that was a genuine mistake," but people say it's negligent. But you have to carry on. You still have your life. Forgive yourself and carry on. But again, learn through that and say, "Look, I've done this. I will not do that again."
All right, amazing. Thank you all. Thank you so much. That has been a pleasure talking to you again. And
I'm sorry for the.
No. That's amazing. We're all at home. The same thing just happened to me as well. So we're used to it, man.
Oh, yeah.
All right, have a good one, big man. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Take care. Cheers, man.
Bye
I
bye.
appreciate. All right, that was amazing, amazing, amazing. Our next guest, we're going to have Tony. We'll try and get Tony on the line. I think I might just have to call him because he might be having difficulties connecting to Zoom. So let me give Tony a call. And let's talk about accepting your imperfections. Goes. Good, good, good. And don't miss our show on Saturday. We're having a dedicated show for George Floyd. I think it's important for us to talk. It's important for us to heal. For those of you who I know, a lot of people have contacted me and they're quite down, and I think it's important for us to heal together and to talk, share our pain together, and trying to see how we can get over the difficult times. It is important. Ooh, loud.
Ronnie,
Hi Tony, how are you?
very, very good. How are you, my friend?
I'm buzzing. I was trying to connect with you on Zoom.
On Zoom. Do you want to connect on Zoom or?
Yes, if that's okay with you. Is that okay?
Absolutely, it's okay.
All right. So I'll turn off and give you a couple of minutes to log in, and then we'll come back on. Is that okay?
Okay. Just did you say?
Ooh, sorry. Oh, I think he was halfway saying something there. All right. Now we're going to take just a quick 1 minute break, and then we connect, and then we'll come back. Okay? Hi everyone. Thank you so much for your patience. We're back on air again, and I had to take a few minutes break there just to get the technical things correct. Now we've got our Tony back on air, and here we go. Hi Tony, how are you?
I'm extremely well, Ronnie. How are you, my friend?
I am buzzing. Always a pleasure to hear from you, man. It was a pleasure. And how are you enjoying the weather?
Weather is great, but I'm not really out. I'm working. I was just coaching one of the telecoms companies who basically have a lot of process improvement work to do.
Please introduce yourself to my audience, please.
Hello, my name is J Selimi. I'm a business coach and cognitive expert specializing in human behavior. And simply I help people resolve problems, personal problems, business problems, elevate their mindset, grow emotionally, so they can really live an extraordinary life, go from ordinary to extraordinary.
Fantastic. Today we're talking about one of the things that people are concerned about, imperfections. So what's your take about accepting your imperfections? That's the topic for today.
Well, imperfections, I believe that everything about us is perfect. What we
I like
actually
that.
don't know and don't accept is the perceptions that we have. And in just changing the kind of perception we have, we can free ourselves from believing or almost beating ourselves up that we're not perfect. Because we tend to compare ourselves with other experiences in life, other people, other people's achievements,
Yeah.
Facebook, social media, and have this almost like 24/7 connection to almost half fake world on social media. And then we use that as a mirror for us to judge ourselves how perfect or imperfect we are, which then creates a lot of mental health issues, family problems, confidence issues. So the list goes on.
I mean, I'm currently reading the book that's talking about the impact that influencers have on people when marketing brands use influencers to promote their brands and promote their products, and people who buy those medications or weight gains and all that just presume that they're gonna look like this superstar the next day. But anyway, that's just on the side. Can you hear me though?
Yes, I can hear you. I mean, one of the things you're mentioning, very important point in there, Ronnie, when basically people buy things for a quick fix. And that on its own highlights a problem that there's a lot of people out there in the world believing in the quick fix, but not doing the exact work that you require for you to transform yourself, educate yourself for you not to have the quick fix. But most people seems like believe in that placebo effect of a pill that will sort out all of your problems. Nothing sorts out my problem. This morning I was writing till 5 o'clock and coaching an Australian client till 4 a.m. So there's no pill for that. You have to do the work.
So what advice would you give to people who feel that they have imperfections, that they feel that they're not complete, or maybe their arms are too long, or they're too far, or they're too thin, or too whatever?
Well, I always believe, Ronnie, the first step for any problem to tackle ourselves is make a real clear list about what do you feel imperfect about, and question if that's a true reality, and question where those ideas came into your head and who influenced you to think like that. Because there's no way, when you are in a space of love and gratitude within yourself and appreciate God, appreciate the wisdom, the intelligence that we have within ourselves, and you are that unfakeable individual that I talk about in my latest book, The Unfakeable Code, that you will judge yourself like that. Why? Because you will accept where you are, but also create a clear path of where you want to go, and not according to what other people are telling you, but according to your experiences, the wisdom and the things you have in present moment. You know, unless you accept yourself to where you are right now, you will never go to where you want to be.
But it's quite hard, though. I mean, when you say it, it sounds quite easy. It is quite hard, Tony, to people listening to you thinking that man is just talking textbook, man. In reality, it is not as easy as he thinks. You know?
Well, I mean, you may say that man talks textbook, but you also know my journey of surviving civil war.
No, I mean, I meant that in a positive way. Meaning, I know that it can be possible. I know. But
but what I'm sharing is for a lot of people out there who may don't know me, and they only see the current success that I've achieved. The reality is, in whatever moment I am in my life, I'm in peace with myself. And when people do those 25 principles of sharing path to wisdom, the first principle is a principle of present moment awareness. But that on its own, it's an encyclopedia, it's a new Bible to understand what that means. So I'm with you when, you know, a lot of people might be confused, but there's the but in there. And the but in there is people don't spend an hour, 2 hours a day to read, to enrich their mind.
Yes.
And this is what I've noticed from being educated and being coached and mentored by billionaires, that no matter how much wealth these people have, they spend at least 1 to 2 hours a day reading. So for me, that inspired me. But also when I look back at my roots, my parents weren't educated, neither was my grandfather, but they were hardworking people who generated a lot of wealth by serving people. but also they read a lot. So
Mm.
reading, it's an essential process in here. So, people may think that, but if they spend an hour, 2 hours a day to read, I guarantee you in 90 days, they'll think differently.
People seem to have lost some people seem to have lost this desire to read these days. Like there was a workshop we did in Nigeria a couple of years ago, and we found out that from the research, a high proportion of university students just don't like reading. It was scary.
Yes, yes, and partly to do it's because the technology we developed has created a whole new, I would say, painting of life that, in a way, enriches our education, but in another way takes away a lot from us truly educating our brain. So majority of people giving their power away to social media, to technology. So if people want to learn more about it, they must see my technological Armageddon, a wake-up call TEDx talk. And because there I see, like, unless we really, people around the world, especially parents, have a big role to play in here to educate their children and to instill the value of reading every single day. Because in the next 5 years, you will see more and more AI coming into practice in every sphere of life. And
That's
a lot
correct.
of people will be even more inadequate to try to compete with something that is 1,000 times more powerful than you. So reading what can help you harmonize that relationship that we all going into the future to have some form of relationship with artificial intelligence and the daily life.
And another thing is, how can we turn the power of our mistakes into a positive?
Well, it's easy. First of all, there's no mistakes. Okay? So I don't believe in those kind of psychology anymore, one-sided psychology, some mistake. The first thing people can do is taking whatever they consider as a mistake and saying, okay, how is this benefiting me? Okay, simple question. How is this benefiting me?
I like
and
that.
If they ask that enough time in their head, I will guarantee you, Ronnie, they'll become honest and say, yes, that's benefit me like this, that, like that, like that. Like, for instance, I had somebody, I was working on procrastination, okay? And basically in 2 hours, he realized all the benefits while he was procrastinating. And when he was clear, he wasn't procrastinating anymore because he knew that was something there. And if he wanted to go from where he is to where he wants me to take him, he will need to be in alignment with his words.
Amazing. We'll be talking with you on Saturday again in memory of the George Floyd show. Just give our audience a 1 minute, because I really want people that it's going to be about healing, and I'm very sure that our audience will benefit from when you listen to them and listen to their pain, you'll be able to talk and help, because we all need to come together and help each other during this very difficult, painful time at the moment, I feel.
Well, I wasn't expecting this question, Ronnie, and the moment you mentioned it, I had shivers through my entire body.
I could imagine.
So if you believe in things like that, because I believe on a spiritual realm, and what I said to many people, it's not about Black Lives Matters. Life matters. We must go away from labeling one another. I don't see you as black or white. I see you just another soul like me, a migrant soul in this world making his own stand. And the more we promote that kind of psychology, the less division we're going to have within ourselves. And we cannot achieve greatness if we are not really living the world of the Bible, the words of the Bible, or words of other religions, okay? So all the religions that I've studied, they all have some incredible wisdom. But when this rage war, quite rightly, frankly, can come into us, we must practice those words, because I believe with love, we can heal everything. And I believe love is the powerful energy that can transform us. And the situation that's happening with George Floyd is just I would say, something that's been boiling for a while. And it is up to us to come together to heal the situation, but also through healing, create transformation.
Thank you so much, Tony. I'll speak to you on Saturday, and thanks so much for your help and the impact that you're making, man. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
I love you, and thank you.
Love you too. Take care, brother.
Bye-bye.
Amazing guy, amazing guy. Okay. And that was great. So now we're going to get hold of all the guests, and please, we're going to shut down again not shut down. We're going to take a break for 1 minute so it gets very hot, so I can get a glass of water and connect with my other guests, and we'll be back with you in 1 minute. Hey, you're welcome back. I'm really enjoying this. It's like now I have like a 1 minute break. So maybe I should look for an advert and people who advertise in the program so I can put that in the slots, and that will give me time to take my little breath so I can do 2 hours straight. Right, we've got the amazing Hanane. How are you? Let me just take this off first of all before I do what I did again last week. We're going to get Hanane back, but I just want to take Tony's name from the bottom because I can still see Tony's name flashing there, so bear with me. So then we're talking about, here you go. Hi, can you hear me? How are you?
I can hear you. I'm good. How are you?
I am fantastic. I am hot. It's roasting. Right. Thank you so much for coming on there. Please just introduce yourself before we continue.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Hanane, and I do coaching. I help people just to get to where they want to in life, and regardless of whether it's work related or an emotional kind of status, then I like to help.
Fantastic. Today we're talking about accepting your imperfections. Do you want to introduce the topic or say a few things before we carry on?
I think we all have imperfections that we see, and we make them something that that most times they are not. And I'm talking about imperfections when we look in the mirror and we see something. Not I'm not talking about someone who maybe has a handicap or a disability that is visual to all. So this is just something I think in human nature we all have something to bother us, because we
Why are you laughing? You're just looking at yourself.
No, I think it's just as humans we tend to look at the aesthetic so much, and especially in this day and age with the way that the media is going, and the way that there's a lot of campaigns and stuff trying to make it not so much, but it is still there, and that's I think where it really comes from, because if you grew up in a society where there were no mirrors, where it was just kids playing and stuff, kids will taunt each other on anything and everything growing up. But I think the imperfections that you're talking about are not necessarily imperfections that others will see on us. It's almost like body dysmorphia. When we see something or we accentuate something and make it a problem when it's not even, when you mention it to someone else, they're like, oh, I didn't really notice, so.
Yeah, I mean, we did mention, I mean, when we talked with Joseph at the beginning, we talked about some people who may look at their body and look at their face and look at their skin color, and then they're just depressed about it and sad about it. It's, oh, my nose is too long, my eyes are too big, my ears are too big, my legs are too long. And he mentioned that there are people, when you say my legs are too long, there are people who don't even have legs and they're happy. There are those that don't have arms and legs and they're successful and making the best of their lives. But those that have legs, that have one leg or have all legs and they're still complaining. I think it's just...
This is human nature, we love to complain, we love to imagine if everybody was always happy, Ronnie. Imagine if the world was they were all Hananes everywhere. What kind of a world would it be? You need those kind of people, because coaches like myself need work. So no, honestly, people will always find things that they don't like about themselves. It's human nature, and it's one of those subjects that it's what you do with that information that will help you to kind of succeed in life or to hold yourself back, because 9 times out of 10 it comes from you, it comes from within. I actually do have a friend who does suffer from body dysmorphia, in terms of she's an absolutely beautiful woman and everyone tells her it, but she will not leave the house without makeup because she has freckles that she doesn't like. But if you see her, you don't even see them. And when I remember the first time she told me, and I didn't really know much about body dysmorphia, and I was like looking at her going, what freckles? You can't see them.
Yeah.
But for her, then it's almost like she's got, I don't know what on her face. So it's, I think when it comes to that kind of body dysmorphia, it's working with the individual on how they see themselves and how they accept themselves in this society. People that suffer from body dysmorphia, from what I've understood about it, it is a mental state of being. It's basically not accepting oneself, and it always stems from other things. It doesn't, you're not just born with it. It stems from being picked on, maybe. It stems from low confidence, low self-esteem. So it always stems. It's really about finding where that insecurity about, whatever it is that's bothering you comes from, and working with that. And it is one of those things that it is possible to work with. As you said, there are people with no arms and no legs. I can't remember the gentleman's name, and world famous. I mean, of course he must sit down and think sometimes, I can't run down the street, but he's using what he's been blessed with to the advantage of helping himself and helping others. So I think it's what you do with your body and your mind that will, help you in this life, this lowly life that we're being tested in.
How do we turn there's a question that put there, how do we turn the power in our mistakes into, how do we use the power in our mistakes to positives?
I think that we had this conversation about a few weeks ago when it came from, like when your parents keep putting you down and you take that and you don't use it to succeed, whereas others maybe, a teacher might tell them, oh, you're never going to do well, and you use that to be the best that you can be. So it really comes down to mindset, self-esteem, self-confidence, the way you see yourself in this society. Are you always judging yourself against other people? Are you accepting of yourself? Do you love yourself? And I think that's where it comes down to, is accepting yourself, accepting the good and the bad that comes with you, accepting that you might have mood swings sometimes and how to work with It's being accepting, and it's understanding yourself without waiting for someone to kind of tell you about yourself. And that's how I work when I work with people in coaching. It's more that I listen and I repeat back to people. I'm not a counselor or a psychiatrist. I'm not going to tell you about yourself. As a coach, I listen and I work with what you're telling me to basically tell you, repeating back, but maybe in different words. And it's always that, I didn't think of it like that. I like what you just said. I'm like, no, but that's what you just said. That's just how I've rephrased it. And they're like, oh, did I? Oh, yeah. And that's how I work in the coaching sense. Because
amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. We're having a special show on Saturday in dedication to the George Floyd's family. I don't know if you wanted to say a word to the family online and for people to heal.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is that I've been watching a lot about it, and there's videos that are going around and memes and stuff saying, if you stay silent, you're as bad as the the oppressors in life, and then there's this whole controversy about all lives matters versus Black Lives Matter, and there's a lot of things going around. And I mean, as a person of colour, and I can say that in terms of growing up in London in the 1970s and early 80s, and the racism that I had to go through, it's difficult. It is a difficult thing. And I think in England we have racism, but it's very different to the racism that is in America. And I think comes from
if I stop you there for a second, I want to have a more detailed conversation on Saturday. So I'll save the comments until I give everybody enough time so we can just talk and heal and get to the bottom of it. But thank you so much. And
no worries. Thank you so much, Ronnie.
I appreciate you. God bless you. Thank you.
You too. Thank you. God bless.
Amazing. All right, fantastic. All right, we've got to talk to the fantastic Angela, who's always been supportful and such a passionate woman that even when she was jogging in the park, she took our call and she still came out to help people. So, hi, Angela, can you hear me?
Hello, yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Fantastic. Please introduce yourself to our audience before we continue talking.
Yes, so my name's Angela Gault. I am a business and personal coach, so working with clients around many different life issues, particularly focusing on career and career transition and just feeling stuck. And really drilling down into the way we use our daily language and are looking at our habit patterns for how we can look at progressing our lives.
Okay. And how are you getting on with your business, and how are you getting on with meeting people, and how are you learning and winning?
Yeah, no, it's going well. I tell you what, I think I always have a mantra. I say I have a mantra every week for my life, and I see one every week. But my one is there's a positive in every negative, which I've kind of just taken out the whole thing of the point of the topic of today. But so being forced to shift everything online means that you really have to think, right, I don't have the face-to-face advantage that I normally would. How can I now use and build my online platform to be stronger? So we all have days where we're like, oh gosh, like just want to have a normal life again. But when you take time to think, okay, but how has this benefited me? When I sit in that positivity of thinking, it's really made me reflect on how this has actually helped to push my business forward. So yeah.
Fantastic. All right, what do you think about we're talking about accepting your imperfections?
Mm-hmm.
What's your view on this topic?
Yeah, I think we live in a society which wants to portray everything as perfect. So, everything's airbrushed. Everyone, what they post on Instagram, that things we're fed, even in movies, it's the romantic Hollywood love story where, they see each other from afar and, oh my gosh, I'm madly in love, and they never have an argument, and we're kind of not sold a lie, but when we only surround ourselves with near perfect or perfect, our brain starts to believe it, and then what we try and do on an individual level doesn't seem to match up to this bar that actually doesn't exist. And so I think we become trapped in also comparing ourselves to others. So what someone else values, we think, well, I must value that too. So then you start chasing a dream that maybe isn't your dream, it's someone else's dream, but it's been packaged to be like, well, no, this is what you should want, so then you end up like probably putting yourself in situations which you don't want to be in, which maybe you're having to use a skill set that isn't what you'd want to use. And then out of that might come difficulties and struggles. And then you start to put yourself down being like, well, this, why am I failing? Like, why am I not good at this? What's wrong with me? Why do I keep making mistakes? And I think that's not the only reason, but that can be definitely one problem with just the way society is set up to kind of trip us up before and continually as we keep going. I
mean, can we shield ourselves to renew our mind?
Yeah, I think, I touched on it last week, but mindfulness is so powerful. Taking time out of your day to just sit and just have a break. I think earlier today, for example, I was sort of scrolling on social media and my brain, it was hurting. Apparently, here's a random statistic or fact. We scroll the length of the Empire State Building on social media every single day. So when you're... Wow. Yeah, so that's on average, so when you're filling your mind constantly with other things, other people's achievements and other people's perfection, and, your brain doesn't have time to just stop and say, wait, what do I want to achieve? What is my, not perfect, but what will suit me in my life? And I think just stopping, switching off, even 5 minutes, just focusing on your breathing, just to have a mental time out. So then you can actually kind of start again, and be like, right, what do I want to do today? What do I want to focus on? And yeah, that's I think one key thing that is, it's easy, it's practical, anyone could take a few minutes.
It's quite funny you said that, because I was talking to Tony before I talked to Hanane, and one of the things he brought up again was how people are not reading that much anymore because of social media. reading of books, because I did a workshop in Nigeria 2 years ago, and from that research we also discovered that university students, they don't like reading anymore. Everyone's on social media.
Yeah, it's true.
Sorry, that's okay.
Can you still see me?
Yeah, I can still see you, but just tripped out for a bit.
Okay.
But it's back on now.
Yeah, my phone decided to tell me it was low on battery. I'm like,
so that
fantastic.
impact of lack of reading, because if we look at all these things that we are calling imperfections in ourselves, people have written books, and people have written books and articles and journals about how we can help ourselves through those things, but we don't want to read.
No, but we're in a society which is quick, now, instantaneous. People don't, especially I think for the younger generation is in their mind that our attention spans are shortening, like we don't have time to read a book anymore. It's like, oh gosh, what else could I be doing with my day to improve myself, and and your mind's firing on all cylinders all the time, and it's tiring. So actually, but reading a book is a fantastic way to take a bit of a break, and analyze yourself and reflect and just take time to increase your self-awareness of what you think of yourself. I think that's another key thing. We don't normally sit with ourselves and really challenge, challenge these things. So, I think I'm not going to take a question away, but I saw sort of what was said in with Hanane about, how can we use the power of our mistakes? I always talk about reframing, like one of my blog posts, the cover photo is your best teacher is your last mistake, like choose to frame it in a positive. How can we learn if we don't make mistakes? I always think mistakes are all part of the necessary steps in a journey to be better and learn about yourself. So if we hold mistakes in a negative way, we'll beat ourselves up every time we make one. Whereas if we think, okay, that didn't go to plan, what have I learned? What can I do better next time? What can I practice? That gives us our power back, and it reminds us we're human, we're not robots. We're gonna make mistakes a lot, all the time. Even the people we look up to who we think are perfect, they will show you a version of their perfect because they want you to forget that they're human and that they make mistakes. So yeah, I definitely think a key element is, how do you hold the word mistake? Are you holding it in a positive frame of mind, or are you holding it as a negative? Because one can uplift you and the other one is just going to beat you down.
Yeah. I mean, if we hold it in a negative, I always ask the question, if you're trying to do something and you miss the take, you missed it. So you missed the take, you're going to try to take again. If you if you missed it, so why are you kicking yourself? Because of what people are going to say, or because of, what is the core in our brains system that makes us to kick ourselves when we miss the take?
Well, a lot of the core of who we are as humans is acceptance. So we're part of a group, part of the being accepted
community.
into a group and being seen in a good light. So if we're due to do something and it went wrong and everybody knew about it, the embarrassment that we perceive will come, or the negative judgments forces us into retreat and really makes us not think productively of, okay, I've missed it, what can I do next? We just bash. Where's that going to get us? And the thing is, in the moment, we can't rationalize that because we're not thinking with our prefrontal cortex, our the human higher thinking part of our brain. We're in our emotional part of our brain, which is all flight, fight, freeze. So we're like, no, this is awful. So, it's trying to allow yourself. Another reason I say take time just to breathe is to give your prefrontal cortex, the front part of your brain, a chance to catch up with your limbic system, to calm it down and say, okay, it's not the end of the world. How many times has something happened, and in the moment it is the most embarrassing, the worst thing. It's something you could never think you'll get over. The next day you're thinking, it's actually wasn't, I made such a big mountain out of a molehill in that. That was and that's because the front part of your brain has basically been able to come back in control with rational logic, thoughts, and say, okay, let's look at all of it here in all of the context, not just from an emotional flight, fright, freeze response. So.
Yeah. Amazing. One more. When you writing your book, you got to get a book out. You know.
It might have to be audio. You know. I think
Put the audio book out there, and I'll definitely plug it for you. That's for sure. We're having a fantastic show in memory of George Floyd on Saturday. So, just don't know if you want to say a couple of things to the family and for the audience who are watching to help us to heal.
Yeah, I've been really following and as much as I can on sort of media and seeing it and talking to people and really trying to put out. You know, I overheard Hanane say about, you know, the Black Lives Matter and All Lives Matter, and really trying to just do my part to educate other white people. I'm white, so you know, this is a big part of the conversation.
Free to say there's black and there's white.
There's black and there's white, and I think, you know, what's happening in the States is a massive movement. It's, you know, I genuinely feel it's a tipping point, and it angers me so much that somebody, not one person, many people have had to lose their life. Many black people have had to lose their lives for the structural systems in place to be challenged. I'm just wishing them obviously all of the love and support that, you know, can from the UK. And I think it's really it's bringing up a lot of community from across all races. You know, if you just, it's only, I know it's social media, but you look at the hashtag Blackout Tuesday. I'm scrolling, a lot of my scrolling today was just seeing post after post after post of just a black picture in sort of solidarity and allyship to the movement. So I look forward to the Saturday, listening into Saturday.
I'll be happy to have you on for 5 minutes, and if you're available.
I would love to. Yeah, that'd be brilliant. Amazing.
Thank you so much, and have a great week.
You too.
One more time, how can my audience get in touch with you just before we go?
Yes, so easiest way is to go onto my website. So it's www.thepowerofwordsandyou.com. Or if you want to email me, it's angela@powcoach.com.
You want to just repeat that one more time?
Yep, so it's angela@powcoach, that's POW coach.com.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Angela. Wonderful. Speak to you next week.
Great. Speak to you soon. Bye.
Take care. Bye. Oh, amazing people. Amazing people do amazing things, eh? Ain't that lovely? Just want to thank you all so much. Thank my guests for their patience and for their understanding and for their love and their commitment every week to come on air and talk to you and advise you and give you feedback on one way or the other that can impact your life. These are hardworking business people who just dedicated their time to just come and talk to us and support us in any way that they can. And so I really appreciate you all. Whenever you are, I say thank you. For those of you who can join us on Saturday, if you know you're struggling psychologically, emotionally with the incident in Minnesota with George Floyd, please come online. Everyone, we have 2-3 minutes to talk. We have psychiatrists and doctors online that will talk to you and that will be able to, and by talking to you, that can help somebody else who's listening. Because what we just need to do is we just need to find a way of healing, find a way. The pain is so deep. We need to find a way of healing. We need to find a way of being comfortable to say you're black and I'm white, but there's no difference between us. You know, we need to just stop pretending and just love each other as we always do. Thank you all so much. It's been an amazing. We all have to accept ourselves the way we are. You know, no imperfections. That's what Tony said. Tony said he doesn't believe in people who say they're imperfect. There's no imperfections. We all have good sides. We all have bad sides. We all have challenging sides. We all have, you know, it's just the way we are created. You know, no one has the perfect body or the perfect size. When you watch these people on TV and you think, oh, they're perfect, they look lovely. Or you look at me and you think, oh, Ronnie's got it all made, man. He's yeah, right. Why don't you come spend a week with me with my missus and my kids at home, and then you say, oh, really? I didn't know you did that. I didn't know you did this. That's the reality. That is one of the reasons why I try to be as real as possible when I'm talking to you, either in my events or online. I just talk to you. Let's be real. Let's not fake anything. Because if we start faking this image and projecting this image that we are the superstar and we are this, we don't make mistakes, and people start to try to want to aspire to live the fake life that we are projecting on the screen. Don't compare yourself with other people. We watched one of our programs we did a few weeks back. We talked about comparison. Don't compare yourself with somebody else. You can aspire to achieve what somebody has achieved. That's mentoring. That's you are looking up towards somebody. You say, "No, I want to really achieve that." Then you work hard. You put the work in to achieve that. Then you ask him. You read his books and find out how did you get there. Then you study to get there. You are perfect how you are. Gradually, if you got issues in your mind, mentally, physically, find a way of growing. Look for people, professionals that can help you and guide you through to rebuild your confidence in yourself and make the best of what you have when you have it and where you have it. I wish above all things that you prosper. I really do. I wish that your mindset, that all things will line up for you in straight lines for you to achieve your destiny. Believe in yourself. Don't ever let anyone tell you that you are not good enough to achieve your dreams. If you make a mistake, wake up, make the next mistake. Wake up again and make the next. Just keep making mistakes until your mistakes becomes a take. You missed a take because you tried. If you don't try, you don't make mistakes. You just be the same way where you are. So thank you. Don't miss the fantastic edition on Saturday from 3 to 5. You can call in, and if you want to feature on the video, send me an email, drop a line or inbox us, and then we'll connect you on Zoom to have your say. I love you so much, and God bless you. And for the families of George Floyd, I wish you all well. May God bless you and continue to give you the healing that you require. Have a good one.